If the only thing you've been doing is watching this free video every week, then you've been doing quite well, because my bets inside of this free video have absolutely been cooking. Week in and week out, we're putting up solid numbers. And that's impressive considering the chaos that has been the last couple of cards. I'm going to be looking to recreate, to continue that success into UFC Vegas 108, but it won't be an easy task considering we have 4 brand new matchups on this card as of this week. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to give you my bets for UFC Vegas 108. Here's a look at the free bets I gave you last week. The Asu Amabayev underdog bet hit. The Billy Elikana over hit. The Bogdan Guskov inside the distance hit. It was a decent night considering 8 underdogs on that card. One, I did lose this parlay here, but the rest of those bets more than covered. The safety parlay, unfortunately, not as lucky as some of these other bets. Jacob, however, absolutely cooked. Jacob put up almost 3 units of net profit, a 41% ROI, and he himself carried us to the promised land. Jacob's profits more than covered any small losses that I had on the other side. He also made about $1,762 from your picks in the Fight Companion. If you are free on Saturdays while watching these fights, you might as well throw Jacob on this YouTube channel. He does a full Fight Companion. He hangs out the entire card, makes some jokes, talks with the boys, but also bets along the way. Once they hit the live card or the main card, he does a full main card parlay with your picks. And it has hit 2 of the last 3 times. It's an absolute blast, and maybe you make a couple bucks while watching that. If you want to unlock every single pick, every single bet, every single tool, not only for this card, but an entire month's worth of access, it's only $10. And if you spent that $10 these last couple of months, you picked the right spots, you made some decent money. If you used the tools, you also made some decent money. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's only $10. It's a way to support the boys, and in return, you get quite literally the greatest offering in this space. It's more than just some copy-paste bets. We have tools. One of those tools is the Fight Simulator. This simulates fights 100,000 times, and not only does it give you the outputs of who's going to win those fights, but it also gives you each independent metric along the way, like how many significant strikes these fighters are landing. You can then take that information to your sportsbook and place those bets. We have other tools like the line movement tracker. This is going to give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. There's a prop hunter, which is a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. And every single one of those things is available right now for an entire month at only $10. If you want to pay for a year, it's only $100. You get a solid discount on a year. And if you want full lifetime access, it's $300 forever. And all we are ever doing is adding more and making it a better and better value month in and month out. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Here's the 4 cards you'll get right now. If you do 1 month, you will get the UFC Vegas 108, UFC Vegas 109, UFC 319 with that spectacular main event, and then the UFC is heading far east. You'll get all of those cards and future cards as well, because most of these tools are built out for the future. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Let's go ahead and talk about this card specifically. Interesting fight card, because we have 4 brand new matchups. 4 brand new, including the main event. But we'll go ahead and we will take our chances. If I'm looking at favorites, there are some favorites I'm very confident in. I borderline had to remove 3 or 4 because this list is just 4. There's a lot of people that I trust here. And I do feel like, and we'll find out, I do feel like this will be a favorite-heavy card. And I obviously could be wrong. And last week had 8 underdogs win of 12 fights, which is insane. But I think that sort of corrects itself this week. I like Mateusz Rebecki. I understand people love Chris Duncan. I understand he's fun. I understand he's tough. But I don't think he's nearly as good of a fighter as Mateusz Rebecki. I think Chris Duncan has built his career on just being tougher. Obviously, he doesn't suck, but he's insanely tough. So he takes his beating. He weathers that storm, and he can break people. We just watched Mateusz Rebecki go to hell and back and not get broken. So I think Mateusz Rebecki can go toughness for toughness with Chris Duncan. And then if we're just looking at skills alone, I think he's the more skilled fighter. Austin Bashi, he is a brand new, I'm not going to say addition to this card because he was already on this card. He lost his opponent, and now he has a brand new opponent. So he's in a brand new matchup here. He's a considerable favorite. It's not a discount, but he should dominate here. Austin Bashi did lose his UFC debut against Christian Rodriguez. But he had a great showing, and Christian is the prospect killer. Austin Bashi is a very good grappler. He's got decent striking. He is a young kid, but he gets after it. He moves forward. He is fighting a pure striker. Obviously, the risk of getting knocked out is there, but the reality is he should be able to get the takedowns and dominate. His opponent's takedown defense is so bad that he quite literally won't stop talking about it. I'm working on it. My takedown defense, it's improving. That's never a good sign. Rinya Nakamura. I know he's a permafade for a lot of you. I understand his last performance was an atrocity. He embarrassed his full bloodline, his lineage. If he ends up having children, they're going to watch that video and they're not going to talk to him for months on end. But that fight was him, I think, feeling himself. He was buying into his own hype. He was 9-0. He was this huge prospect, giant favorite. And he decided to try to strike his way to a win, and that just did not work out for him. I think losing that fight quite literally has reset him. He's going to go back to his roots. This is a guy that has accomplished a lot in wrestling. He has traveled the world, represented his country, and won more than one championship at an international level while wrestling. I think he goes back to those wrestling roots here. He is fighting somebody who can be taken down fairly easily, and I think that's exactly what we get. And then we have Tatsuro Taira in the main event. Listen, I thought he was going to beat Amir Albazi, but I didn't fully commit to that. I wasn't fully invested. Amir is still good. I was a little concerned. But he has a brand new matchup here. And while Hyung-Sung Park is undefeated, you never quite know where somebody who is undefeated's career is going to end up. I trust the fact that Tatsuro Taira was in a full camp. I trust the fact that even in his last fight, which was a close loss to Brandon Royval, who's an absolute dog, he got 6 takedowns. He recognized, all right, the striking's not working for me. I need to move to something else. And he did. So I trust Tatsuro Taira to make adjustments in the fight. I feel like he's going to be the better wrestler. Grappling-wise, at least on top, he should be able to have all the control he wants. And I think the striking's going to be about even. You combine that with the fact that Hyung-Sung Park is stepping up on short notice. A full week earlier than he was expected to fight. And even that fight was a short notice step up. So I trust Tatsuro Taira here. If we're looking at some underdogs, there are some dogs on this card. Tresean Gore is one of them. Is Tresean Gore a very good fighter? No. By no objective measurement could you call him a very good fighter. I think his grandmother would have a hard time convincing people, my son's a great fighter. But the reality is he does hit very hard and he's got good wrestling. If he decides to put it all together, which is few and far between, then he could have some success here. He hits very hard. Tresean's not afraid to get into a fight. While Rodolfo Vieira is the better athlete, and he's certainly better on the ground, Rodolfo Vieira doesn't love being in dirty fistfights. He doesn't love it. He's learning the striking. He's got good jiu-jitsu. I think Tresean Gore has opportunities to win here. I'm going to pick Rodolfo, who is the more well-rounded of the two, who is the more dangerous of the two, as long as we talk about the ground specifically. Tresean Gore has a couple of wins in the UFC with some, I'm not going to say lucky, because they were powerful and beautiful guillotines. I don't see that happening here. But objectively, Tresean Gore is a decent underdog and could absolutely win this fight. Neil Magny as well. Yeah, that dude just got knocked out twice in a row. And the last one was like real bad. Should have retired. But he's also fighting somebody age appropriate. Neil Magny's getting smoked by people half his age. Oh, literally almost half his age. And now he's finally fighting somebody his actual age. Elijah Zaleski is dangerous. He does hit hard. He is very athletic. He does the capoeira, Brazilian dance fighting. But Neil Magny, if he does what he does, which is be long, clinch, use that length to avoid, use the length to keep people where you want them, he could potentially win this fight. I think he's a decent underdog. I'm not picking him. Nora Cornole is somebody that I picked. The reality is she's probably not the better fighter, but she is going to move forward. She is going to bomb away. She is going to look to hurt her opponent in every single exchange that she's in. And this is in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas cares about damage and forward pressure more than any other commission. Las Vegas is fully bought into the idea that grappling doesn't matter, random jabs don't matter, and the only thing that matters is your opponent bleeding, and are you trying to finish them? And Nora Cornole fights exactly like that. She moves forward. She is looking to finish in every single exchange that she's in, and even if she's not landing as many strikes and she's not the better fighter, like technique-wise, I think she can certainly do a little more damage and could steal a decision. Then we have Hyung-Sung Park in the main event. Listen, I just picked Tatsuro Taira as one of my more confident favorites. And now I have Hyun-Sung Park in the solid underdog. These are general statements. I am not picking Hyun-Sung Park to win, but I do fully recognize that he's got great jiu-jitsu, pretty good wrestling, and pretty good striking. I also recognize that he's undefeated. And when you get these undefeated prospects, you don't know yet if they are going to be something amazing or if they're just hyped for now because they haven't fought anybody good. We don't know yet. We'll find out in this fight. So I think if you're on the Park side and you fully recognize his talent and his abilities and the fact that he does have decent wrestling and the fact that he does have decent striking, then he might be able to make something happen here, and he's almost a 3-1 dog. So I fully recognize the support on the Park side. I'm not there, but if we're looking at solid underdogs on this card, he can certainly be in that category. Here's a look at my actual bets. As I mentioned, these bets on this slide have been absolutely cooking the last few weeks. So let's look to repeat that success here. I have more volume than usual, but about the same units. I have a new bet on here. We'll talk about that in a sec. First, Andre Pulayev. He's a guy that he was minus 112 and that line was tightening, so I was waiting. As soon as I saw it widen and hit minus 120, I hit it. I think he wins this fight. He's fighting Nick Klein. Nick Klein, in my mind, is a jiu-jitsu nerd. Andre Pulayev has showed he's got decent takedown defense, and he's absolutely the better striker of the two. Half a unit, minus 120 is about minus 150 right now. Then I have a sort of chalky favorite parlay. We got it down to minus 117. This parlay has been doing pretty well for me. It sold last week with Carlos Leal, but the 3 weeks before that, I believe, each and every event, this was hitting. This sort of 3-leg confident favorites parlay. We have Kevin Vallejos. He should get this done. He hits like a freight train. He is fighting a very tough opponent, but he should be able to get it done. Rinya Nakamura, for all the reasons I mentioned earlier. I think the fact that he lost his last fight just makes him an even better fighter in this fight because he's going to go all in on the wrestling and not risk getting hit in the face. Rafael Estevam. I think Estevam, while he may have some cardio issues, is just the better fighter in that matchup, and he has the wrestling, he's got the striking, and I think he has the submission defense to avoid any chaos on the ground. That's minus 117 full unit there. Half a unit on this plus 161 round line parlay. And honestly, I have a feeling this is a bet that will cash. And then afterwards, I'm going to be like, what a pussy. Why didn't I put a full unit on this? We got Gore Vieira over 1.5. Neither one of them, obviously they both have some finishes, but neither one of them are like these crazy fast starters. So over 1.5 seemed like an appropriate line to me. Same with Duncan and Rebecki. Obviously, Chris Duncan's had a couple of wild fights, but Mataus Rebecki, I think, wins this fight. And I think he'll use some wrestling to get it there. So I think we end up with over 1.5. Duncan is tough. Rebecki is also very tough, and I think Rebecki wrestles. So I put those two together, plus 161. A couple of good-sized favorites here. Austin Bashi, Piera Rodriguez, minus 151. I think Piera will use the wrestling. I'm not insanely confident in her, which is why I don't have her in anything more meaningful than just this 2-leg parlay. I think she will use the wrestling. She's the better wrestler of the two. If the striking's not going her way, I think she'll just get the takedowns, and that could be enough. It is Las Vegas, so things could get dicey. They don't care about wrestling as much as other commissions. And then Austin Bashi for the reasons I mentioned there. Austin Bashi should be able to absolutely dominate this fight on the ground. His opponent is 85% striker, 15% mixed martial artist, and it's not even kicks. There are some decent inside leg kicks because he's a southpaw, but I think Austin just gets takedown after takedown after takedown. Then we have a parlay here. I took the Bashi Yannis over 1.5, and I parlayed that with Tatsuro Taira. So obviously I'm a little double dipped on Bashi here. He's going to need to win this fight and have it go a little bit longer for both of these bets to hit, and I think that is what happens though. So I think the Tatsuro Taira parlayed with the over 1.5 is a solid bet. That was dead even money at plus 100. Then I have a 7-leg round robin. This is for premium members, but let me explain what a round robin even is. And I did not do it to its full potential, but I'll walk you through all of that. What a round robin is you select as many fighters as you want. I selected 7 fighters, 7 confident fighters that I do think win. And then what you do is you tell the system, I want you to parlay all 7 of these fighters, but it doesn't build out a 7-leg parlay. What it does is it does individual combinations. So if we have 7 fighters, let's say they're each numbered, fighter 1 through 7. It takes fighter 1 and 2. That's a parlay. It takes 1, 2, and 3. That's a parlay. Then 2 and 3. That's a parlay. 2, 3, 4. That's a parlay. And it builds individual parlays. So what I did is I took my 7 most confident picks on this card. I said, build me 2-leg and 3-leg round robin parlays, and I'll put $1 on each. It built 56 parlays. So now I have 56 individual parlays with 7 confident favorites that I like. Now, what this does is it minimizes your risk a little bit. If one favorite sells, you just lose the parlays that one person was in. You don't lose all of your parlays or all of your money. What you should be doing with this is a mix of underdogs and favorites, or just stick to like 3 or 4 underdogs and build out those combinations, because the payout will be much higher and they are underdogs. On this card, for my very first, like putting it on premium, not just for myself, round robin, I wanted it a little safer. So this is the route we're going. I did 56 individual parlays. I put $1 on each. You can do 20 cents. You can do whatever you want. On Bet Online, which is what I use for this, you basically select every fighter. You click on the parlay tab, and then you see at the bottom, there's a slider that says round robin. Click that. Then you have a few options. You have 2s, which is 2-leg parlays. 3s, which is 3-leg parlays. Then you have 2s and 3s, up to 7. You can do the whole gambit. This is what I did. That's what we're running with. And then we have a plus 170 or plus 107 safety parlay, a plus money safety parlay. Listen, I don't want to jinx it. The plus money safety parlays, oddly enough, hit more often than the regular safety parlays. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because my back is against the wall. I have no idea. But the plus money safety parlays do far better on average percentage-wise than the regular safety parlays. And I might just start leaning in that direction. The safety parlay was something that we came up with 2 years ago. It hits at about long-term, and it's all fully tracked. If you are a premium member, go to the account page. In the menu, go to the account, and then you'll see a parlay, a safety parlay tracker, lock of the week tracker, every single one ever that we've ever done or recorded or named. And you'll see there is long-term success with the safety parlay. But that's sort of a different world where you can trust some of these fighters. Now, with sports betting being as legal as it is everywhere, a lot of these odds are going bananas because people are doing ridiculous parlays over and over and over and over. So a mid-sized favorite ends up in quite literally 100,000 to 200,000 different parlays out in the space. So the odds get crazy. The safety parlay was born in like you can trust this. And over time, you absolutely can trust it. But in this world, with these ridiculous odds, Big Ange might start going plus money safety parlay. It hits more often than the regular ones. You can go check that tracker. Plus 107 this week. You can unlock that right now. Just go to WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. You'll get everything, not just safety parlay, every bet, every pick, every tool. Here's a look at some of the other boys' bets. It's not just me on the website. We have 5 different cappers. We have an artificial intelligence, which we then interpret that data and do bets based off of some rules and criteria. We have me, we have Jacob, we have Bet Sam, we have Artem. Here's a couple of those teasers. We have Bet Sam's Slam of the Week. Bet Sam's Slam of the Week, it's basically his version of a safety parlay. Long-term, that is also quite successful, minus 116. We have a fun prop bet, Estevam Ribovics to win by submission. I don't hate that, honestly. I do think he grapples in this fight, plus 1,800. Only 0.1 units on that. And then we do have a dog, just straight up moneyline dog at plus 150 for Nora Cornole. This is just a small sample of what the other boys are doing. We have 26 total units of premium bets on the board. 6 of those units are for future events. We are built out for the future, not just this week. Check it all out now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Here's every event you'll unlock. Right now, this instant, you pay $10. The website is all yours, completely flips. There's no upsell, no cross-sell, nothing else hidden behind the pay tier. And here's all the events you'll have 100% full access to.